Okay, so here we are. This is the meeting of the Board of Health on September 18th. We have a quorum consisting of myself, Catherine Hilton, and I should change my name to my name. And Arlene Reed, Wim Levine, and Garrett Simonson.
Hi, Garrett.
Okay. All right, the first order of business is, as always, the minutes from last meeting. I'm assuming that I did send them out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you did. And I had by email asked for a clarification, which you reworded one of the lines in it, and I thought it was much better. Thanks.
Okay, and everybody else is satisfied with that change?
Yes.
Okay,
Move to
Okay.
approve.
I'm sorry?
Move to approve.
Do I hear a
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Garrett,
Yes.
Arlene,
Yes.
Wim,
Yes.
Kat, yes. Okay, there we go. I got into a brief email conversation with Linda Grib, well, not with Linda directly, but it's about Linda Gribko's place. She had asked if she had to have a Title V inspection if the septic system on the property that she has bought from Ted Hodgen is going to be removed. And I don't remember if we talked about this in a meeting or if I just answered her on precedent, because I remember Bill saying, no matter what, you have to have it inspected. So I said she did. But it kind of came up again in email conversation with Claudia and with Alan Weiss. So I asked Claudia if she thought, because Alan seemed confused by it, and I asked Claudia if she thought it was necessary, and she said, if the entire system is being removed, I don't see the need for an inspection. So I would be willing to reconsider that and waive the inspection requirement.
Where's the property?
It's I think 36 Shore Drive, South Laurel Drive, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And
oh, right. Okay, I remember.
It's across the street from the property they already own.
Yeah.
The only stipulation that I would want to make would be that all components have to be removed, not just the tank and the D-box and stuff, but the leaching trenches would have to be dug up and carried away. Because otherwise, if we don't have an inspection, we don't know where it is. We've got that whole section of basically dirty dirt out there, and it seems like if we're going to waive the inspection, she should be completely removing the system.
That makes sense.
With some authentication that the work was actually carried out. Right?
Right. Presumably Alan Weiss would be in charge of that because he's the engineer of record on this. And he could verify it and confirm that it was done after it was completed. So we would be requiring that all system components, including the leaching trenches, are removed. All the used sand and whatnot around the leaching area removed, and that would be confirmed by the engineer, and we would be informed of it.
We're not in a position to specify what they must fill it with, are we?
No, I don't think so. I would assume that they would just, bulldoze some ordinary soil into it.
Fill with soil on top or something like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, as long as it's something clean.
Yeah.
Is it a mound or no?
Oh, no, I don't think so. It's because it's really old.
Oh, all right.
It's old and it hasn't been used for just about forever. So, you know, those mounded systems are comparatively new. I don't think you see them before about 1990.
All right.
And this is older than that, I'm sure.
It sounds good.
Yep, it makes sense to me.
Okay. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I move that we notify Linda Gribko that she, in fact, does not have to have a Title V inspection of the system to be removed. And that we specify to her that the entire system all components need to be removed at the time. That's not worded very well, but
It does the job.
yeah, okay.
Okay, do I hear a
Second.
second? Is there any discussion? Okay, we have a question from a member of the public. Tom, you have the floor.
Thank you. I just wanted to know if this would affect any sort of jurisdiction, I guess, for wetlands, if any of the existing system or if any of the fill would be where there's a bordering area on a wetland.
That's a
or
good
if that's
question.
That's a good
something that
question,
they
yeah.
would, I just wanted to know if it had to involve the Conservation Commission at all, please.
Any site work that is within the buffer zone around a wetland is in the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission. So I think that's a good point for us to follow that up. And I probably the best way to do it is simply in our communication with Linda, we could add the caveat that that the work would be subject to the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission if it meets their criteria for jurisdiction. And there's some standardized language for this that we could use that would put them on notice that they need to make sure that that the area is outside the buffer zone, and if not, to seek approval from the Conservation Commission. Go ahead, Arlene.
Is it that the homeowner has to determine whether it's within the buffer zone, or we send notification of this along to Concom and let them determine whether it's in the buffer zone?
That would be a good idea. Usually what has happened with us is that the engineer.
Oh, the engineer. Okay.
The engineer checks in with Concom in case there's a problem.
Not the homeowner. That makes perfect sense. Okay.
Right. However, it wouldn't be amiss, I think, for me to send an email to the Conservation Commission and tell them that we are prepared to take this action,
right,
but that they should be aware of it, and then they can do whatever kind of checking or inspection they want to do.
I would feel most comfortable with that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I will, how about this? I'll send an email to the Conservation Commission and also to Claudia, Alan, and Linda, saying that we are prepared to waive the requirement for a Title V inspection, provided that that all of the system components and soil are removed in such a way as is consistent with the requirements of the Conservation Commission, if it is determined that they have jurisdiction there. Does this sound good?
It does.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else from the Board of Health? Okay, have we voted on this? I don't think we have.
Not yet.
Okay. So we do have a motion on the table. We're finished with discussion. So all in favor, Garrett,
Yes.
Wim,
Yes.
Arlene,
Yes.
Kat, yes. Okay, I will take these actions as soon as possible. Okay, another thing I have to tell you about is that Sarah has well, for one thing, she has more COVID tests, and I'll be putting out a message about that. But she is also in negotiation with the elementary school to put on a, did I tell you this before? To host a flu clinic that basically a vaccination clinic for flu and COVID, apparently, and that would be open to members of the community.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
And does she have a staff to back her up, or is she going to be needing?
Apparently the state, I suppose it's a DPH team, comes in and does it. I don't think that we are going to be called upon to assist. I was a little taken aback by this because she didn't mention it to me before getting into conversation with Katie. So I was kind of surprised that, I mean, I told her basically she doesn't need our approval, but I'd kind of like to know what's going on in advance. I told her a little bit about our experience with that in the past.
Is it at the elementary school?
Yes. Yes, I think she said they would set up in the cafeteria.
But open to all, not just the school students and
I
personnel.
believe that is the case.
Okay.
Yes. And it's not finalized yet. And actually, I haven't heard anything about it for a week.
Okay.
So, I mean, on the one hand, we could ask if we could use it for our same old EDS exercise the way we used to do. On the other hand, we've done that so many times. I could just about do it in my sleep.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
we're no longer required to do it.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Right.
Yeah, I think probably what she's been operating off of is that DPH has a contract with a vendor to do these vaccination clinics. I thought it was only flu, but maybe they also have because the state's not. I didn't think the state was funding the COVID vaccine any longer. But
I think that's right.
Well, presumably it would be like the flu clinic. I mean, they weren't funding that either when we had flu clinics. We took insurance cards. Gosh, you just made me think of something, Garrett, and then I went and opened my mouth and forgot it. Oh, the question about vendors. Do you have any idea who these vendors are? The reason I'm asking is that at one point we wanted to have one of the pharmacies come in and give the flu shots, but it turned out that they were not authorized to give shots to anybody under 18.
So last year the vendor I think was Cataldo Ambulance Service. But I don't think it's an ambulance service this year.
Okay. Well, I'll follow up with Sarah and see what else she can tell me, if anything. Do we have any thoughts about this? Any objection to it? Any wishes for it?
No, I mean, if she needs help, just to let us know.
Yes, absolutely. And I should add on that on October 4th, my RN license expires, and I have made the decision to let it go. So I'm not, due to the expense involved and the CEUs needed to renew it, I'm not going there. So will change my ability to participate in like as a
You can still
Sure.
set up a tent.
I can set up a tent. That would make it an intense experience.
Oh,
Oh, ouch.
yeah, presumably we would not need to provide people to administer vaccines.
Okay, yeah, good.
I can though, if they
Right.
need it. Yeah.
Ah, okay, good,
Yeah.
yeah, good point. Oh, here's somebody coming in. Okay, well, I'll talk to Sarah about
Okay.
this and,
Yeah, and let her know I'd be available. Did you mention the date?
we don't have a date.
Oh,
And really, it's not even a done deal.
okay.
At least it wasn't last time I heard from Sarah.
Hmm.
She was discussing it with Katie Harrington and the school principal and stuff, and it hadn't really been decided on.
Mhm.
So who just came in? Joseph's iPad. Is that you, Joe? I can't think of your last name right now.
But we need a full name, right?
Right, we do need a full name so I can put
That's
it in
me.
minutes.
Joe Salvador.
Salvador, that's it.
That's me.
Right. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna change your name here to, oh, not Wilm's name. Where'd you go? So Garrett, you had some stuff that you wanted to talk about.
So one of the items was related to an availability of an animal inspector through the Valley Health Regional Collaborative.
Oh, right.
And that was a notification I received because I go to the Valley Health meetings. I think for our purposes, it's more just to say that through the collaborative, they've hired a new health inspector. And that person does have the capacity and capability to do animal inspections, but I think we have a designated animal control officer for the town, don't we?
We have a
question.
dog officer, and that would be Nancy Long.
Okay.
And I don't know if she doubles as the animal control officer, I mean, the animal inspector or not. I'm not really very clear on the distinction.
I think the distinction ends up being more primarily around rabies cases. And rabies in animals, and an individual who's able to do what's required to send the animal for testing to the state lab is my understanding.
Okay.
So I don't know if she has that capability and has done that for us in the past if the situation's presented itself, but
Okay, well, and it's fairly unlikely that the situation will present itself, but it sounds like if it does, we have available the services of this new health inspector in Greenfield. Is that right? Not for free, I understand.
not for free. Yeah. So I guess maybe it begs the question of, is she able to perform those functions? And if not, then it seems like we would have to determine if there's, funding in the event we needed it.
Do you have any idea of the cost of this person's time?
I don't. I'll follow up with Megan in Greenfield about it to try to better understand. And I can talk with Becky too to understand. What did you say her name is?
Nancy Long.
Nancy Long. What exactly her duties are, and if they fall into this category.
I know that she's a veterinarian. So
on the town's website, which I was just peeking at, she is just listed as a dog officer. Where did I find that now? Departments, yeah.
No.
Under departments, all it says is dog officer, and there is no animal inspector anywhere that I am seeing on
Okay,
the town website.
okay, so it would be
Even
good.
Under inspectors, I just see building, electrical, and plumbing and gas.
Right,
I'll follow up with Megan about it.
Okay.
okay, great. Okay, so there's the animal inspection thing, and then there was something about the opioid funding.
Yeah, so I think through the Board of Health email and also to Becky, there's an upcoming requirement that we report on any spending related to the opioid settlement funds
Mhm.
we've received as the town. We had gone to the select board and asked for their approval to pool those funds with the Valley Health Collaborative,
Mhm.
to get more for the money across the towns.
Right.
And the select board did approve that.
Mhm.
I spoke with Megan today, and she said that, a number of communities in the collaborative haven't advanced it the way that we did, to try to get that approval.
Oh,
And in fact, Greenfield was against pooling their funds in the collaborative.
oh, interesting.
Sarah Fisk has been talking with Leverett about ways that they might utilize their funds locally.
Mhm.
So Sarah reached out to me today to say, these are the conversations I'm having in Leverett. I'm willing to have similar conversations in Shutesbury and, try to figure out how we could use those funds locally. So it doesn't seem like we're going to pool the funds, or that there's not a lot of, that there's not a common view that we should do it within the collaborative. And so I wonder if we should, in a future board meeting, have this as an agenda item and hear from Sarah about what she's started to do with Leverett, and try to determine if that makes sense. Basically, she's working with I think the police and fire chief there
Mhm.
to identify ways to utilize the funds.
Are there any other towns in the collaboratives that are willing to pool?
My read from what Megan was saying in Greenfield is that the other communities really hadn't done the legwork that we did. So if they haven't done it yet, I mean, it's something that we could bring back to the collaborative,
Mhm.
ask if others are willing to do that. And we could certainly check with Leverett. I mean, if they've already started to put a few things in motion, maybe we could do something jointly with them.
Okay, well, why don't we put it on the agenda for next time?
And I can see if Sarah can come to that meeting.
Okay. Okay, and perhaps when's the next collaborative meeting?
It's a good question. Noreen and I sort of juggle that one.
Uh-huh.
She typically goes, and then if she can, I go.
Mhm.
Let me see if I've got it. There was just one recently. It's probably within the next 2 weeks.
Sarah would not be able to come if our next meeting is the first Wednesday in October, because that is the night she's doing a program. I forget what the topic of the program is, but I think she's doing the program in Leverett, and I know that just because I was thinking, oh, I can't go to the program
Mhm.
because I have this meeting.
Okay, well, maybe we should try to put it later. I'll talk to Sarah and see if she can make herself available for one of our meeting times, and then
Okay.
we'll move it onto that,
Sure.
onto the evening.
And then I think the more pressing matter is just getting in contact with Becky about doing the reporting to the state about what, if any, funds have been expended to date, which I think is probably none.
I would assume none, yeah. Okay, oh, why, the reason I was asking about the meeting is that at the next meeting, perhaps, you could, or Noreen, depending on who goes, see if other towns are interested in, making a little regionalized area, even though Greenfield's not interested.
Yeah, because you know, so Deerfield, Montague, Sunderland, Leverett, they may be willing to do so.
Right, and that's a kind of convenient contiguous area too. Montague, however, might want to go on their own. I think that sort of the bigger entities might want to do it on their own, like Greenfield. But perhaps the smaller towns would like to throw in together.
Yep.
So if you can find out about that, or have Noreen find out about it at the next meeting, that would be ideal, I think. Was there anything else on the agenda? I don't have it in front of me that we're supposed to be talking about.
No, it was generically updates as needed and unanticipated business are the only remaining things.
Okay, all right. Does anybody have anything else that they want to bring up? In that case, how about a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Show of hands.
Very
All right.
yeah.
Okay, there we go. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
In a couple weeks.
Okay, bye.